Today here in the dungeon, we are checking out the Vestor 2 Concert Series guitar. This guitar came into my possession recently through a friend of mine that acquired this, as he was horse trading some basses, and he asked me to set it up for him. So as I was doing so, I thoroughly enjoyed the guitar, and ownership of this thing is still kind of up in the air as far as who is going to wind up with this thing between me and him. But regardless, it's a fantastic guitar. And if you've never heard of it, a Google search of this guitar does not turn up much, to be honest. You'll get some reverb listings, so they are out there for sale. Prices are kind of all over the place. You kind of got to make sure that you are know which model that you're buying. I'll get more into that in a minute. But what I did find was this. Vestor Concert 2 series, all instruments built in Korea during the early 1990s by Midco International at Sehun Plant, Korea, and sold through Midco International's office of 908 West Fayette Avenue, Effingham, Illinois, 62401. USA telephone number, yada yada yada. Address, yada yada yada, etc. etc. It says the Vestor trademark was established in 1990 and widely distributed acoustic and solid body guitars around the world, designed for entry to intermediate level guitarists, but this does not diminish the quality. Midco discontinued their Vestor trademark in 1994 in favor of the more popular Lotus line. For all intents and purposes, if you've heard of Lotus guitars, which are a little bit more common, this is essentially distributed anyway, made and distributed by the same company. In Effingham, Illinois, I believe that's Chicago area, which this brand was sold very heavily in the Chicago market back in the early 90s when it came out. Let's think that this line, as mentioned, this line was only in production for about 4 years. So that gave me a little bit of information on it because even I wasn't familiar with this brand. That particular blurb that I just read said that these were Korean made. However, I do know that these were made in both Korea and Japan, and I think this is actually one of the made in Japan models. And the reason why I think that is because there is no made in stamp anywhere on it, which is much more common in Japanese made instruments than pretty much anywhere else in the world, particularly from this era. There is also a Wikipedia entry about Vestor guitars, and the highlights of that are, says Vestor was a music instrument manufacturer specializing in guitars and guitar amplifiers, formed as a part of the Samuel Music Company based in Effingham, Illinois. Vestor is perhaps best known for their good quality Japanese and Korean import electric and acoustic guitars. The Samuel Music Company, founded in 1946, is the proprietor and owner of a chain of music stores which sold pianos and specialized in school band renting programs. Following the success of several small luthier businesses such as Jackson Guitars and ESP Guitars in the late 1980s boom of the rock music industry, the Samuel Music Company decided to launch its own brand of guitars and named the brand Vestor. So pretty much where they came from. So in other words, they were under a company called the Samuel Music Company. It was one of their brands. They were distributed, at least in the U.S. anyway, by Midco. Again, a company based out of Chicago, which again, from what I understand, is probably the market where these are the most prevalent in. However, looking this up on YouTube, there are quite a few videos of this guitar from from people all over the world. Most of them are just a couple of 2-minute short videos. Never really saw a formal video, a formal review video, demo video on it, if you will. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to do one. So as far as the specs of this guitar, it was hard enough for me to find information about the brand, much less the specs of this guitar. So I'm, the specs that I'm basically going off of what I see visually. It looks like, based on the chip that's missing out of the body right there, that this is an alder body. I can just see enough of the wood grain to see that it looks like alder, poplar, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to assume a maple neck, and that is a rosewood fretboard, albeit a very dark piece of rosewood. Of course, licensed Floyd Rose locking trimless system and locking nut. I'm willing to bet that it's probably not the original humbucker that came in it. That looks like a DiMarzio of some kind. I didn't pull it out to see what it was. Kind of a moderate output type of pickup though. But you know, I found I was actually able to play a lot of different styles of music with it. You know, classic rock, hard rock, you know, some metal stuff. Sounded okay with it. You know, let's see. You know, I'm going to assume probably, like I said, a maple neck, as I mentioned, neck through design. You know, one master volume knob, one master tone, 3-way toggle switch to flip back and forth between the two pickups. Then you've got Goto tuners on it. So very stable guitar. Very, you know, the neck on it is very, very fast. I really like the way that it plays. Shark tooth, you know, looks like abalone. Shark tooth inlays. You know, this is a kind of a metallic gloss, you know, gloss metallic black finish. That's about it. You know, I've seen some of these guitars that seem to have come with the old Select by EMG pickups, so which seems to indicate that some of them were active. This one does not have a battery cavity in the back to indicate that it was ever an active guitar. So this one probably, assuming that I'm right and that's not the original pickup, assuming that that is correct, probably had something a little bit more moderate in it. A lot of import pickups from this era were actually outstanding pickups, hence the made in Japan Jackson guitars of that era, and that's really what this is kind of a competitor of. The Charvel Model 5s that had the Jackson electronics in it, you know, the Charvels, the ESPs, guitars like that. You know, shred machines, if you will. You know, but I will say that I think the biggest surprise and probably the shining feature on this guitar is that neck single coil right there. That thing sounds awesome. I love it. And, you know, if there's a good way to describe a single coil pickup, it'd be spanky, which is what it sounds like to me. You know, great little, you know, neck blues type of tones that I was getting out of it. Then I was actually running this thing through a lot of gain. They're not very high output pickups at all. If you want to know what this amp sounds like, watch the video that I did a couple of videos back on the Goss Tape Echo. All the amp and everything on it is exactly the same as it is in this video. So, you know, the guitar really is the main difference in the tone that you're hearing. So, you know, definitely more of a vintage type of flavor of tone, but with a lot of more, I don't want to call them modern because this guitar is almost 30 years old now, but more of the shred era features that were popular in the guitar industry from the day itself. So if you see these listed, if you decide to go looking for one of these listed, you're looking for a real solid neck through shredder type guitar from that era, this is probably a brand that you might want to consider because most people don't know about them. And they are out there for sale. Seems like you can get them. Right now you can buy Vesters for anywhere in about the $300 to $500 range. I've seen a few people asking for more than that. I don't think that they're selling for that much though. So these are a fantastic value if you're somebody that's looking for those, you know, those amazing quality imports from Japan and Korea that were all over the place in the guitar industry back in the 80s and early 90s. So that's all that there is for this video. This not being a current product, what I will do is link to a search result over on Reverb if you want to check these out and see what's available. Of course, as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the alert icon next to it. That way you receive the alerts of when new videos are uploaded to this channel. Links to any and all the gear used in this video will be down in the description, as well as any various other means of contact and any other links that might be pertinent, such as the link to my Teespring shop will be down there as well. If you would like to support this channel, go check out and maybe buy yourself a t-shirt over on Teespring. And last but not least, leave me a comment down below. Maybe you have heard of these. If you do, you know, I'd certainly, you know, you may have more info on it than I do. I'd certainly love to learn about it. Tell me what you know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. You know what? There are tons of young people out there that want to get involved in music and do not have the means to do so. If you are watching this video, most likely you're a musician, and many experienced musicians have tons of broken and unwanted gear lying around that they're not doing anything with. please visit my friends at Share the Music on Facebook at the link below and learn how you and your unwanted gear can help change somebody's life.